Dr. Tansen coming to you from Mamoni. This is our old growth cloud forest campus in the Mamoni Valley. As you can see, full of diversity, astonishing diversity. A recent climate report that says basically we have 5 years left to make radical transformative changes in the way we live if we're going to keep the climate within livable limits for vast amount of biodiversity in the world. It becomes an existential threat. You know, how are we going to get that atmospheric carbon back into the biosphere where it belongs, and in all of this magic that was made with carbon from the atmosphere? So we know that it can be done because nature's doing it right now, and the question becomes, how are we going to do it in our human societies? 85% of the biodiversity is on lands managed by indigenous people that represent 5% of the world's population. So the movement has been building for lands to be stewarded by the indigenous people that have spent generations learning how to tend and manage these forests. You know, people lived here and they still do. The Kuna people were right on the border of their lands, and they've managed biodiversity here and in these kind of tropical corridors for tens of thousands of generations. So that know-how is still intact with those people, and that's really what we need, because it's not really about the carbon itself, it's about the diversity of future possibilities. Nowhere on Earth you have more biodiversity than in places like this. This is one of the top 8 biological hotspots on Earth, and you can see the diversity is astonishing. Even just in one tree you might have 150 species of beetle. So the measuring the carbon itself, how much carbon gets put into biomass, is not, it's really a byproduct of what people have always done, intended future possibilities, more resilience, more capability for adapting in the future. And simplifying things, monocrops, standard operating procedures, all the things that we do for efficiency are really removing that diversity of future potential. And so we've got to start thinking beyond the carbon itself, because it's hard for people to grasp that there's this commons called our climate. How do we manage that? We really don't have mechanisms for managing commons, at least in our culture. But indigenous people have done it for countless generations. Maintaining potential for sequestering that carbon, bringing it back to the biosphere, is that indigenous knowledge, that expertise. So I think it falls on us, especially at Mamoni and Geoversity. We really want to develop indigenous leadership and empower them to use the knowledge that they have in managing their own lands, and increasingly having capability, sovereignty to manage those lands, because we hope to all arrive in the future together. If we're alone, we're not going to have a whole lot, because we need that diversity. That's really the key.